I'm gonna show you how I make my super lazy, I'm not saying easy, I mean lazy, cheesy pinwheel cookies. I'm gonna be doing most of the work in this food processor, starting with a whole stick of butter, which is 8 tablespoons, and a teaspoon of salt. And I also want to add a little bit of cayenne, about like half a teaspoon, depends on how much you like spiciness, a lot of black pepper, and then into the dough I'm adding parmesan cheese, about 1/3 cup. You can definitely add a little more or a little less or totally skip it, it really doesn't matter. And then 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of oil. This just will help the dough to stick together so it's easier to work. And then turn on the food processor and let it run until everything becomes one dough, one giant ball of dough. And yeah, this is why it's lazy, because all you have to do is add the ingredients into the food processor. When I'm touching it, it's not sticky at all. That's what we want, but it is still butter based cookies, so it needs to be cold for us to work with it. So I'm putting it into a plastic wrap, and I want to make it flat because we need to cool it down. We need the butter to cool down so we can work with it. And I find that when it's flat, it will cool down much faster, because usually they say like put it in the fridge for an hour, because normally you would make a ball of it. But because I'm doing flat, it took me about 18 minutes to cool down. So here's my silicone mat, which on what I'm gonna work on for mostly. I wanna roll this out into a rectangle because it's a pinwheel, so I need to roll it up from the longer side. So just stretching it out, but again, it's butter and it's gonna melt faster than regular dough. And also I'm in Florida, so it's melting really, really, really fast. Cheese, choice of melting cheese, your favorite melting cheese. I'm using the Mexican blend. It's my favorite for melting cheese, just layering down everything. And I'm also adding herb de Provence, which is a French seasoning of just dry seasoning like oregano, basil, thyme, and whatnot. You can totally skip it, it's not necessary, or you can just add oregano to it just to have like a little extra spice. And now rolling it into the dough. I mean, there's barely any work that I'm putting into these cookies, and it's done pretty fast. It's just that if the temperature in your home is kind of warm, it will melt pretty fast. So has to work fast, fast, fast. See, my dough is starting to melt, so it's getting a little bit harder to roll up, but it's okay. I think I managed that. With the silicone, I was able to like flip it over and then rotate it like when making a log cake. But I can also put it back in the fridge if needed, which is what I'm gonna do when I'm done rolling it up. Just a little bit more. For me, this was the hardest part because my dough started to get warm. It is really hot in Florida, even with the AC blasting, still really, really hot. I'm on the top floor, so right under the sun, super exposed to the roof. I put it back into the fridge so that I can cut it. This is out of the fridge, and I always cut the edges off because I just think they're not pretty, they're not straight, and yeah, that's going into the trash. And then I'm gonna cut these into about a centimeter thick. I want it to be like a one bite kind of cookie, and you will see these little I wanted to say not bald spot, these holes in between the cheese and the layers. Do not worry if you also have that like I do here, because it's gonna grow a little bit and it's all gonna combine. I'm transferring this into my sheet. I'm baking this in my conventional oven, which is on the top thing, baking it at 350 for 15 minutes until it's all golden brown. This is halfway through, we're almost there. See how like it grew and there's no more holes and missing areas. Beautiful. And it is done. Super hot, and because it's still hot, the butter inside is still kind of soft, so if you were to eat it right now, it would fall apart. So we really need to wait till this dough cools down completely because there's so much butter in it. The butter needs to cool down for it to be more handleable. But it is a very flaky cookie, super tasty. You can definitely get creative with what kind of spices you add inside of it. Enjoy.